Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. So glad you're here this morning. We appreciate the viewership. Let's take a look first at our weather, brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, Drew Pollard and hardworking crew up in Southport, covering the whole county and the Jordan counties. High today is going to be 83, low 75. Not a lot of variance in the actual air temperature. The water temperature at the end of the pier, just like yesterday, 86.5. Hadn't moved at all. The river readings brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do. The Apalachicola Bluntstown is steady at a 4.2, and I've got some great reports of good fishing on the big river. The Choctaw Carabelle 4.0. Right even, and it's in good shape there. This is August kind of river readings. You just have these little showers, might go up just a little bit, but real steady, and then our river readings. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Great tides. We got a high tide this morning, 10 o'clock, going out strong all day till about 8:15 tonight, and the wind is coming in out of the south at about 11. Let me take this a moment here to thank all of y'all for all the thoughts and prayers that went out for Whitney when she was in the hospital last week. She was in ICU for 3.5 days, and then put a step down by a day and a half, but she is home now, and we're very thankful for it. And so many of y'all reached out with your messages and your emails and all. It meant so much to our family. We appreciate it. Here's a picture of here she is getting ready to be discharged. She and Wendy are happy as they can be, and I think they're doing a crossword puzzles or something. So she's home and happy. We've talked to her on the phone and all. So just want to thank all of y'all for your thoughts and prayers with Whitney. So we appreciate it. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with our guest. Welcome back, and welcome back to one of our regular sponsors comes on, and he's our boating expert, Daniel Cole. Good to see you today, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. Daniel and I've been talking about all kinds of things, but what have you been up to recently?
Just busy working as usual.
Yeah.
A lot going on. Just like we do. That's I know I always say that when I'm on there, but that's how it is. We're just always surveying or working on one thing or another. We got a couple big legal cases we're doing work for on, and we're just busy.
And you're the expert witness.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, that's good, and we got all kinds of things to talk about. Of course, we do want to. First thing I want to cover that tragedy we had recently here this past week in the boating accident we had here in North Bay, and it was just a heartbreaking tragedy. And you and I talked about that.
Yeah, that's a real sad event. It'd be sad if it was anybody, but someone like Coach Pike, he's newly appointed to a very responsible position. He's very involved with the community and mentoring kids and athletes and supporting his school. Yeah. And that's left a tragic hole now. Who's going to fill that hole? Someone, I'm sure, will find. But no doubt he had certain talents and skills he brought to the table that you may not be able to just fill those. But he seemed like a person very dedicated, and it really demonstrates to us how fragile life is and how quick everything can change.
Isn't that the truth? How just a split-second decision, we were talking about that, how, when at nighttime on the water, we've both been there a lot, it's just different.
It is.
And it's just, you have to be even extra careful at nighttime, it seems like.
That's right. And who knows, had he had a buddy with him, in the boat. Yeah. They might have seen, we have very sketchy details so far as to what actually happened. I mean, but from the initial report that, he accidentally ran into a power tower out there in North Bay is what the news is saying. That seems very preventable had he had someone in the boat who could help him keep an eye out, but we don't know. We weren't there, so. But I'm a big advocate for buddies when you go fishing and do stuff.
I am too. I don't like to go out by myself on the water. I really don't. Especially at night. But now we've done it before. I've been out there before. And what happens sometimes, especially if back in the day, I'd just pole along without a motor, floundering. Then you get that wind, those gusts of wind sometimes can just blow up really fast. and I've been blown out and had to paddle back. And that's back before the days of cell phones.
Sure.
But you just got to be careful. I always want to have and even when we go out in the woods, hunting buddy and all, Gail don't like for me to go by myself, but I don't seem to have many hunting buddies I used to, so I go by myself more than I should. But you're right about having somebody with you.
Yep.
You brought some pictures. We talked about this last night about things we want to talk about on the show, and all kind of things with the boats. We're excited about all kinds of things happening here on the boating scene. But let's look. You sent me some pictures of boating accidents, and we'll start with this one right here. So let's see. We got it right here. So what we got here?
Well,
That's
this
a nice
one apparently somebody left the safety chain off.
Oh no!
They went to put their boat in, and it apparently got really good rollers on this trailer, and it dumped the boat on the concrete.
Oh my goodness! It just rolled off then.
Just rolled off. But I don't know if that was pulling in or pulling out.
Yeah.
These pictures are not mine. These are pictures that I got off the web, but they demonstrate, just the slightest inattention to detail can cause a real problem when you're in the boat.
When something like that, a boat is that heavy and all, and I've often wondered that. And when it falls down on that concrete and that fiberglass, does it crack the fiberglass?
Typically it will, and the gel coat will bust, and even if the fiberglass webbing doesn't crack, the gel coat will bust off, and then it's open to the water, so it has to be re-gel coated. So.
Okay. And we recommend getting a professional to do that, or
absolutely. Absolutely.
Back in there, we'd patch it ourselves. We don't know.
I've seen it sometimes, and I have seen some people do a good job for themselves, but it's typically that's something best left to the professionals.
The professionals. Yeah. I learned that the hard way too. All right, this is by this one right here. That's that just came off the trailer, didn't it?
Yep.
I saw one like this recently. One came.
There's been several recently.
Yeah.
On I-10.
Yeah.
But there's no truck or trailer that I see around it. I don't know. Does the guy know it fell off? Was he embarrassed and he took off? We don't know. But regardless, this one here again. This is something we don't really know what happened. I would guess probably the tide was up and they did not see. Either way, they were inattentive to the marker, but I would guess probably the tide was up when they ran aground on that, and then now the tide's lower and you can see it. But either way, they're cutting that marker awful close. So.
And again, we're talking about markers, and when you take that little boating safety, get your little boating safety card, you got to learn all those markers, what they mean. But there's a purpose for those markers.
Exactly. To save your boat.
Yeah, and what amazes me, these channels, you want to always stay in the channel.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's hard to do if you're at a new area.
Well, and if he was in a new area, to put that boat in that situation, he was going way too fast for where he was at.
Yeah, so
because he didn't know the area, obviously.
Okay, hey, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Sitting here with Daniel Cole talking about boating safety, and one of the things I was going to mention, and I was thinking about it last night after we texted each other, the big thing on boating safety that I see in the future, and it's going to be unintentional, are the rental pontoon boats.
Seems like we talk about them every time.
I know, I've got mixed emotions. I'm tickled to see these families coming down from Alabama, getting on a pontoon boat and getting out and experiencing that. That's good. On the other hand, you get these yahoos that don't know what they're doing, and they're going to run over everything. And so, what's your thinking on that?
Well, we sea trialed I think it was a 36-foot Everglades the other day, which is made to go offshore. But coming in the pass, there was 6-foot rollers in the pass, and there's a bunch of these idiots trying to cross the pass in a pontoon boat.
Oh.
And if you think you cannot roll a pontoon boat, I almost rolled mine one time. I got a good beam C, and it wasn't much more than 6 foot, and with everybody on one side of the boat, you can roll them. So there needs to be something, I don't know what it could be, but there needs to be some sort of short educational program to let them know what the parameters of safe operation are for these vessels before they take them, because they are risking their lives. And
exactly,
the renters they're renting them, but they have no way of vetting really who's getting on that boat and operating it. So they may be covered for insurance for loss, but the people that are renting those boats, what is their level of responsibility to be safe and to not do stuff that's going to get somebody hurt?
You're right. And there's got to be parameters, and I would say one of them would be not go out to pass.
Yeah, don't go out.
Do not go.
There's no reason to go out there.
Yeah,
if it's
so,
6 foot in the pass,
yeah.
it's worse when you get outside.
Right, and there was one. I remember 5 or 6 years ago. I talked about it on the show where it was going out to pass, and it came back with a huge wave. And they didn't even know a pontoon boat would do that. There was you remember that situation. So anyway, let's get back to some more accidents. Check out this one right here. What happened on this one?
I would have to guess that somebody didn't put the plug in on this one.
Honey, you have the plug in? Sure. So what they do, it's interesting, they put these floats under them and just how do they do that?
They have these bags that attach with straps, and they're connect the air compressor to it.
Okay.
The bag floats the boat, and the water slowly runs out. What is not told about this, and again, I don't know exactly that's what happened. Finding this picture, I just wanted to use as a representation of what can happen. We don't know who owned the boat or whatever, but if that does happen, this boat is essentially, from a surveyor standpoint, completely, what's the term we would use?
Total?
Totally, yeah, total. It's a constructive total loss now because the salt water has got on everything that's electrical, everything. There's water in the hull, there's water throughout. The electronics may have been submerged. We don't know. The engine looked like it definitely was submerged. All of that is such a process to bring it back. It's almost as much trouble as just getting another boat. So it's sad. Just a simple slip of the mind. I forgot to put my plug in. Something like that can happen. And that will ruin your fishing day.
I don't think I know of any sportsman, fisherman who has not at one time forgot to put the plug in until about the last minute. Oh yeah, it's happened from little boat to big boats.
Right.
What I was thinking too in a situation like this, you don't really know it on a big boat like this. You really don't know it until you get out there in the water. You don't see it like in a little John boat and all. You can see it immediately. But in a big boat like that, you're already out there in the channel.
Yep.
Usually. Got to get back onto it. Okay. This one right here, what do we have here? Oops, let me get back to it, Jeff. All right. Here we go, right here.
That one there is pretty self-explanatory. Somebody was going really fast, and exactly like one of the situations that could happen with a rental pontoon, they apparently didn't see it and ran over. I don't have any details on that crash, but I'm very fearful for whoever was steering that pontoon boat because the entire helm is gone. So there's a very good chance somebody was severely injured or even could have died in that crash.
And again, we'll go back to what you and I talked about time and time again, speed, going really fast and all. And especially I talk about it all the time about our big bass boats, sometimes they just take off. To their credit, most of the time they're in wide open water. They're not around, when they get around people, they slow. The folks I know, they slow down around people. But a lot of times, you get inexperienced people out there.
Well, and that's it. But it could have just been a split second. The operator took his eye off of what was going on. This boat pops out in the way. Bam. But that's how quickly life is lost with accidents on the boat.
Okay, and then I think we got let's see this one right here. Okay, right. What happened on this one?
That one there.
That's a tower.
The tower was on a boat. Guy was trailering his tower, trailering his boat. Tower hit the power lines.
Okay.
They were low.
There's the power.
Ripped the tower completely off, and it shut down all the power for a very large area of play. And that was here in Florida. I saw in the caption. So it actually ripped the tower off of the boat and knocked the power grid.
That would mess up a fishing trip right there.
Yeah, it sure would.
And a lot of times you can't judge your height of the lines and all that. You really, you just take it for granted. How many times we're driving, how many times we look up at power lines? You just don't do it. You take it for granted and all. And
if you go online, there's so many of people towing boats, hitting low hanging bridges and stuff.
Yeah.
Just you got to be aware of so many aspects. It's just like driving. You know what your parameters are on your car. Your boat's the exact same thing. But it seems like when we we have a day to go fishing, we get in a hurry, we haven't had a time, so we tend to rush things and take a lot for granted. And really, we need to mentally checklist everything for our safety and our passenger safety.
I find my biggest challenge is not slowing down and just step one, step two, step three. I'm just in a rush to get in the water. All right, let's go, because I've done it so many times it seems like it's automatic, but it's not automatic. You got to check each step.
That's right. And, it only takes one slip, and I mean, look, we just looked at a plug, a safety chain, not keeping a count on our overhead clearance.
Yeah.
And all three of them were catastrophic, taking our eyes off of the water, running over another boat. These were all very preventable, just lack of attention to detail, because probably the person was in a hurry.
Yeah. You brought up a good point a while ago. Let's take a break. We'll come back and talk a little bit more about this. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. So here with Daniel Cole, our fellow outdoorsman and big, not just as a fisherman now, he loves to hunt. We're going to talk about all kinds of things in a second. But let's take a look at our fishing game times brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers. Only one time today. It's from 11:36 to 1:36, right here in the middle of the day. If you notice over in the past and all, if we have a full moon, which is tonight, then that fishing game time is right around the middle of the day. And we've talked about that before, deer and all feeding under the full moon, and then early in the morning, you don't see them in the tree stand, but what happens, they start getting hungry about the middle of the day, and then they start walking in the middle of the day. That's why, if you stop and look back over historically, I've kept a record of it mentally about those feeding times in the middle of the day. It relates to the moon. Speaking of which, how's your fall plan setting up?
I got my first call and invite yesterday to go quail hunting, and I'm excited.
All right, that is awesome. Where are you going to be going?
We don't know yet, because there's a variety of areas this friend of mine likes to hunt, and he's such a great guy. He just calls me up and says, "Hey Dan, we're going to go over here, and want you to come with us." And so wherever he's going, I'm going.
And what kind of dogs? What kind of?
He likes German short-haired pointers.
Oh yeah.
And they're beautiful dogs. He's got a young pup that is so far ahead of the curve on training. It's unbelievable. I think it was 4 months last year we were hunting, she was already pointing birds on her own. 4 months. And she could stand them, and she was very disciplined already. So I'm really excited to see what has happened over this interim year and hunt with her again.
That's a gifted dog.
Yeah. He had already taken it after a couple trips I didn't go on that he went to further up north, and when they saw it, he had people offering him, several $1,000s to buy her, and he's like, "There's no way." They drove all the way, I think it was Colorado, to get her.
Wow.
But I was like, wow, yeah. But that's.
I love to see that. You see that passion in people, for passion for their dogs and what the dogs do, and I mean, they don't mind a drop of a hat. They'll go to Colorado or wherever to get it because they know what kind of dog to get.
Well, that was a trip well spent, because that is a fine dog.
I've talked about it before, how special it is to see a dog work and do what they love to do, and running around and pointing and all that. That's just so special.
Well, it's nice because we even have places as close as like Mariana now that are, doing guided quail hunts and stuff like that, so it's not like it used to be. We travel to Mississippi, Alabama, all these different places, but now there's a lot closer places, and if someone has not experienced that to me, wing shooting is the top of it all. I love wing shooting more than I like deer hunting, and I do both, and relatively successful at both, but probably a little better at the wing shooting.
Yeah. And I really believe, I know for a while quail has really been down, but some folks are actually trying to, get it going. I know some guys up in Jackson County have been planting some quail, but also have some wild quail. And over in Calhoun County, have some wild quail. I've tried to do it. I haven't had a lot of success, but they're making a little bit of a comeback, I think, in my opinion.
They are. What's really killing us is the coyotes.
Yeah.
And just like we were talking earlier about the turkey, habitat shrinking,
Yeah.
So managing what we have is the key to sustainability, and that means getting rid of predators and doing what you can. So,
well, that's why predator hunting is important.
It is, and it's a shame. I mean, it's evidence of where man has got things out of balance. So now man has to step up and make a change to help balance it again. So, and it's really important.
Yeah.
Important.
And coyotes have really, in my particular area, I haven't seen as many lately, last 2 years, because I'm starting to see rabbits, and that's nature's sign. If you start seeing rabbits in the area, then the coyotes, they're on there to beat them. So it's that natural cycle right there. So all kind of exciting things coming up. You're getting ready for fall mullet season and it's dove season and what?
You know, I haven't been dove hunting in so long.
Really?
I just, haven't had any invites and nowhere really to go to do it. But it's fun too. But up to two, I enjoy eating quail more, so it's okay.
Yeah.
We get to go quail what a bit, but yeah, definitely want to see the roe season and the mullet show up and do what we can do to get where we need to get with that, because that's one of the nice things. I mean, we take that for granted. You walk out your backyard and go do what you want to do here, and that's a blessing. So
I'm starting to see them. I've watched them jump the last couple of weeks and all, but they're getting a little bit bigger. And with the first one jumping little things, but now they're putting on a little bit of weight now. So,
that's right.
This is August, and then September, late September and October, they're going to be just right.
We get a little more colder, a little bit area, weather and water too. It'll probably help them.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to start wrapping things up. You got the rest of this month pretty well planned out?
Yeah, we are busy all the rest of this month and already booking in the next month, and just
that's a compliment to you and your business. You're very dependable, and I know folks like to deal with you. So
well, I appreciate that, and we strive very hard to bring an extra high level of service to our clients, and we've made a point of being able to handle a lot more situations than just the survey aspect, to give a broader range of service to our clients. So
that's great, Daniel. Thank you, buddy.
Yep, thank you for having me.
All right. Y'all do something good today for your fellow man. Thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.